Joe! Joe の野郎。鬼姫が完全にぶっ潰しやがって。
Oh my god. Hello everyone, welcome to Joe Consumes Cinema. I am your host, Underestimating Your Opponent. And today we have Ashita no Joe, episode 18. So last episode was really interesting. This newer character, Aoyama, the runt of the litter who, held his own, is surprising everybody, has been attached at the hip to Dangpei, absorbing all the information he can from him, and it's really starting to pay off. We don't know exactly what he did to that guy in that fight because, he's not telling, and everybody else was bored by it and looked away. Based on the things that the guys were saying before, how they were bored and they turned away, and then he landed something, whatever it was, knocked him out, made him all bloody. I'm going to guess that the thing that Dangpei emphasized most of all is because he's so small, to just evade as much as possible and make your opponent miss their punches. Eventually, they will get tired. This will then create an opening, and then you can easily land something big. I don't know exactly what it is, but that would be my guess. And yeah, he's taking Dangpei's teachings very seriously, and it's really paying off for him. Joe is, pretty pissed off at the whole situation. He doesn't know what to do. He thought begging would get Dangpei back. It didn't work. He tried going to Aoyama himself, but, they're in this tournament together, and he can't just give away his secrets. That would give, too big of an advantage to Joe, and they might fight each other. And yeah, it's a very interesting development. It's not at all how I thought things were going to go, but yeah, it's quite interesting, and I still do think there's a method to Dangpei's madness, so yeah, I don't think he by any means has abandoned Joe, and they're not going to be, coach and pupil in the end. I think that's, what's destined to happen. But it is a wrinkle in the plan, and yeah, we're just going to have to work through it, and honestly, I want to get right to this, but before we begin, as always, remember to blank, blank, and blank. Still very much a small channel, so every like, comment, share, subscribe that we can get really helps out. Really appreciate it. Patreon link down below. With that, let's get right to it. Sando bagani kao megake tatake 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 ashite wa kiito ashite wa dochi da. Okay, we're here already. Ring ropes of despair. Alright, we actually have real rules this time. Joe just gave himself a handicap. Nani? Oh, this is going to be a slaughter. Yeah, that's what I expected. The headgear did not help him at all. It's a goddamn ring out. That's the most violent ring out I've ever seen. He got twisted in the ropes and just hangs there. Jesus. How the hell is Dangpei supposed to ref this fight? He's been training this guy one-on-one. He's not impartial. What the hell is he doing with the rope? His size makes him really hard to hit. His footwork has gotten really good too. Now he's exhausted. What the hell? He's inviting him in? He wants him to attack him while he's tired. He's not even using his feet now. He doesn't have to. Yeah, it's not exactly the most entertaining fighting style, except what's about to come, I'm pretty sure. Here he comes. Yep. Doesn't matter that they don't have a lot of power. He can't defend himself. Sunday punch. Yeah, he stupidly gave himself a weakness for no damn reason. Oh god. That was sloppy. Yeah. Good guard. Pay attention. He's getting distracted too. Those aren't punches. Shit. He's got him now. Ashitaを目指して立ち上がる。立つんだジョー。Okay, took some time just to gather my thoughts. Really interesting episode. So the tournament has started, and we get the reveal of Aoyama's fighting style, which is basically to evade as much as possible, force your opponent to, throw punches that miss. They tire themselves out, and then he can, attack freely, pretty much unencumbered. Now, he does have really good footwork, which leads me to think that Dangpei focused on teaching him defensive methods first of all, and not so much as, offense stuff. His form is okay, but he doesn't have any power because he's a runt. He's so little. But also because he's a runt, he's a really difficult, target to hit. And, he can move pretty quickly. He's got good stamina. So yeah, he's using what he has to like the maximum advantage for him, and it's pretty clever. Now, it's not necessarily the most interesting fighting style you can think of. And honestly, the safest approach to dealing with someone who fights like that is probably just to, establish your jab. Eventually, you'll hit them enough times to where they themselves will slow down, and then you can start unloading power shots on them and, clean their clock. But it's pretty clever for what it is. We're still very much in the amateur world of boxing. A lot of people are learning. So yeah, it's like good, solid advice for like a beginner level, and it'll work as a trick on, inexperienced opponents. Right before the tournament started, they all agreed to use different size gloves given, the weight class that they're fighting in. Rikishi yelled out that since he's an actual, professional fighter, he was going to, forego the use of the headgear, and he wanted to use the heaviest weighted gloves, the 12 ouncers. And Joe immediately pipes in, like, I don't want headgear either, and also I'll use the heavy gloves too. Just giving himself, an unnecessary disadvantage. Rikishi is a lightweight, Joe is a bantamweight. 2 or maybe even 3 weight class difference right there. And those 12-ounce gloves, I've thrown punches with them before. They will tire you out. 6-ouncers, it's almost like, fighting with just the tape on. But yeah, it makes a real difference. And Joe didn't need to do that. That was stupid. And he gave himself a disadvantage that almost really cost him in his own fight. So we saw Rikishi's fight, absolute slaughter. That guy stood no chance. We all knew it. But it was a ring out, and he knocked him through the ropes, and then he got tangled in the ropes and knocked his headgear off, basically smashed his face. And yeah, that was bloody and violent, and pretty much knew that was going to happen. Joe finally got to his fight, immediately realized that the 12-ounce gloves are, sapping all of his energy. He's wildly throwing punches. His opponent smartly blocks and just lets Joe tire himself out. And then as Joe's getting distracted by, comments from the crowd, not focusing fully on the fight and, making mistakes like that that leave openings, Joe starts getting lit up. He gets really frustrated and he decides to start fighting dirty. Dangpei initially threatens to take away points. Joe says, take as many as you want. It won't matter. And, it's a dirty tactic, but it worked. If you do that too much in an actual fight and you're like purposefully, throwing illegal shots, you just get disqualified. I don't know if this is a time period when that wasn't a thing, but I do know at one point that really wasn't a thing. Like you could foul multiple times in a fight and depending on the ref, like get away with it. But yeah, Joe is really frustrated by the entire situation. He thinks Aoyama is, beneath him, and he just keeps giving him these looks like he wants to challenge and fight him. That might be something that Dangpei told him to do. Just look at Joe every once in a while and smile, just to anger him, because we're going to use that for when we eventually have to fight him, that type of thing. But yeah, it's really getting under Joe's skin, and everyone else there is, more than happy to dogpile on Joe. They don't particularly like him. And yeah, he's not going to win any fans, fighting like that, where he's fouling the guy out almost, and then once he gets damaged enough to where he can actually start throwing real punches, just wailing away at him to the point where, it eventually works and he falls over. That didn't happen quite yet, but I'm pretty sure he's about to win his fight and then we're going to advance on to the next match. But yeah, another good episode, and honestly, I'm just eager to find out what happens in the rest of this tournament. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. As always, thanks for watching, and peace.